look at notes 9.3. As you can see, there is no warm-up here, but we are actually going to look at example 1 together because I've been having you do that on your own. So as a refresher, let's take a look at it. You are factoring these two things together, and I've been telling you that you could use FOIL or you could use box, either one, right? But we're going to use box on this one. And we're going to do that by taking the two factors. So here's the first factor. We're going to go ahead and put it right here, x minus 5. Then we're going to take that second factor and we're going to put it on top. Okay, there you go. There's your two factors. And now all you're doing is multiplying. So you take x times x and you get x squared. You do 2 times x and you get 2x. You do x times negative 5, you get negative 5x. And then 2 times negative 5 gives me negative 10. But we're not done yet. There's one more thing I need to do. What do I need to do now? Combine like terms. So x squared. There's no other variables that are squared, so x squared goes by itself. Now, x and x variables, these variables can go together, right? Positive 2x and negative 5x give me negative 3x, right? Because these two in the chord, they always need to kind of go together. And that leaves me with negative 10 because there's no other constants to combine. And there you go. That is your full trinomial. You are finished, right? That's why the box method is so great, because we can work really quickly. Now, as you can see, riddle 1, riddle 2, and riddle 3 are exactly what we did last week. They're called riddles because you are finding the missing piece by using the clues that you have, right? So on this one, for example, you know that x and x give me x squared. Well, x and something, right? Give me something, but we don't know yet, so let's keep looking. 4 and x give me 4x. 4 and this something give me 20. Well, what times 4 gives me 20? Think about it. 5, right? If I were to put a 5 here in my missing spot, does that work? Let's see. I could do x times 5, and that gives me 5x. 4 times 5 is 20, so there we go. Now we have everything we need. And we just have to combine like terms. X squared is the only variable squared, so it stays by itself. 4x and 5x give me 9x. 20 is by itself, and so it is just 20. So our trinomial is this, oh goodness, is this right here. Our trinomial is this right here. And then our factors were x plus 4, so I'm going to write that, x plus 4, and we found out x plus 5, okay? So you wrote down your trinomial, and you wrote your factors, and that's all you have to do on that one. Now you are going to solve riddle 2 and riddle 3 by yourself, right? You are using the clues to figure out that missing number, missing variable, and then you're going to write the trinomial and the factors. Okay? If you need help with that, please let me know and I would love to help you. But we're actually going to take a look at something new. We are going to take a look at finding the quotient. Does anybody remember what a quotient is? That is the answer to a division problem, right? When I'm looking at a division problem, I have a dividend, I probably am not spelling that right, but a dividend and a divisor. So you have what is being divided, you have what it is getting divided by, and then you have its answer, okay? Now, it says right here, you can use the box method to help you divide, which is true. We are about to learn how to use the box method, but take a look at this one right here we actually don't even need the box method because there's a greatest common factor here between all of these numbers. Can you see what that greatest common factor is? What could each of these be divided by? They can each be divided by this 2x really easily, right? They can all be divided by 2. They can all be divided by x. So that's exactly what we're going to do. 8x squared divided by 2x, that leaves me with 4x, right? Negative 12 divided by 2x is negative 6, because those x's canceled out and it left me with negative 12 divided by 2. And so your quotient is 4x minus 6. And that's it. That's all you have to do. But let's see what it looks like when it gets a little trickier. And that's where we're going to bring in that box method. Remember, if I'm going too fast, you can change the playback speed. You can pause. You can send me an email, say, Ms. Bailey, I have no idea what you're talking about in this video. Please help me. And I'll help you, okay? So let's take a look at how to use the box method here. So it says, what is the quotient represented by, and it gives me a trinomial, our dividend. And you do not have to write dividend. I'm writing it for my own self and for you to see. And then our divisor. Now, we want the quotient, the answer to this division problem. If you'll look though, what do you notice is the dividend? What is that right there? If I look at the front page again, I said write the trinomial, and I showed you what the trinomial looked like. And then I said write the factors, and I showed you what the factors look like. So let's take a look at this division problem again. What do you notice is on top? A trinomial, right? What do you notice is on bottom? A factor. What we're going to do is we're going to create a box, and we know we want to divide out a factor, so we're going to put that factor as part of our box. We're going to put it on the side here. So our factor is x and negative 5, okay? So with x and negative 5, I'm going to see what I can do to put this trinomial in the box, right? Trinomial we get from our box, just like we did up here. I looked at everything inside of the box and I put together my trinomial. Now you're kind of working in reverse. You are getting the trinomial and putting it inside of here, so that way you can work out and see what the other factor is. So you know that this first one has to be x squared, right? Because I'm filling out the trinomial. So you know that first part has to be x squared. Done. Put it in there. Well, let's go ahead and start filling out this riddle. You know that x times what gets me x squared. And I'm sorry, I went a little high here. Let me use a different color. So you know this has to be x. Okay? Perfect. Now let's keep looking here. You know that if this and this are both here, you can go ahead and multiply them. So x and negative 5 gives me negative 5x. But here's where it gets a little bit trickier, because you know that the other part of your trinomial, negative 3x, you have to get that by adding these two things together, just like we did up here, right? These have to add together to get this part of your trinomial. So let's see. What with negative 5x would give me negative 3x? Think about that, right? You can even use your fingers. If I had negative 5, how could I get to negative 3? By adding it with a positive 2x. So is that true? If I have a negative 5 and a positive 2x, would that give me negative 3x? It would, right? So keep filling out your riddle. If this is 2x, what times x will give me 2x? 2. And then it's not really necessary, because I can already tell 2 times negative 5 will give me that negative 10, right? So now you have figured out that your quotient, the answer to this division problem, is x plus 2. And there you go. That is your quotient. And I'm trying to look how I spell quotient. Ms. Bailey's strong suit is not spelling. Okay? So I want you to use this same box method to solve example 2 on your own. Remember, create the box, okay, and then you are going to take that divisor, what it's being divided by, because it's a factor, and you are going to put it on the side here, right? X. All right, understanding division with a remainder. So you are still doing the same process, right? You're still creating that box. You're still taking that divisor, the factor, right? And you are putting it here, x and 1. Then you're taking the trinomial and you're putting it inside of your box. So I know this has to be x squared. Then I solve the riddle. I know that x times x will get me that x squared. Let me go ahead and use my different color again. I know that will give me x squared. And then I know that x times 1 is just x or 1x, right? We know that if there's not a number in front of it, you can pretend like there's a 1 there. I know that these two things together have to be negative 3x. Okay? So let's take a look. What with positive x would give me a negative 3x? Negative 4x, right? Negative 4 and positive 1 would give me that negative 3x, so I solved that part of the riddle. I know that x times negative 4 has to be negative 4x. And then on the bottom, I go negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, but ooh, wait a minute. What is wrong with that? Why is that not good? Is negative 4 the end of our trinomial here? It's not at all. What would have to be the number for me to get that? How would I get positive 5 out of negative 4? Think about it. With positive 9, right? 9 minus 4 would give me that 5. So we have a remainder. Because there is a remainder, that means x plus 1 is not a factor of that trinomial. And that's it. You're done. So I want you to try example 4 on your own and see if you can figure out what that remainder is. And I will see you for notes 9.4.